The situation in the Kupiansk direction is deteriorating. Despite the fact that we held the city, the enemy managed to gain a foothold in certain areas of it. The enemy, with two armies, the 1st Tank Army and the 6th Combined Arms Army, reinforced by a unit of the 11th Army Corps, is pushing toward the city from the north and southeast, attempting to cut it in half. If you look at the map, you can see that the situation around Kupiansk is deteriorating. We see the enemy's incursion both in the north, near Kurylivka, and the enemy is moving along the Oskil River, as well as in the east, particularly in the area of Pishane and Kupiansk-Vuzlovyi. They're also trying to attack the Petropavlivka area. So the enemy is trying to move from Pishane towards Kupiansk-Vuzlovyi. They have reached Kurylivka effectively already in the outskirts of Kupiansk-Vuzlovyi, and this creates immediate threats to Kupiansk itself, which we are currently holding in defense. In this sector, units of the 47th Tank Division and the 27th Motorized Rifle Brigade of Russia are advancing. The enemy is trying to expand this very bridgehead from the Pishane area to the area of Kupiansk-Vuzlovyi. The occupiers have managed to reach Kurylivka. This is really bad, because from this Kurylivka, the enemy is currently moving in two columns, north towards the Podoly area and south towards the Kivzharivka area. We also have a situation where, effectively from Kurylivka, the enemy is cutting into the eastern outskirts of our defense at Kupiansk-Vuzlovyi. If you look at the northern part, the enemy is trying to move along the Velykyi River in the direction of Petropavlivka, through Sinkivka, through Halabivka, and also trying to advance from Kindrashivka. We can see that, for now, our troops are managing to hold the defense further north. It's going better here than in the southeast, in the area of Kupiansk-Vuzlovyi. According to information from Konstantin Mashevets, a military expert with information resistance, enemy infantry groups are currently being spotted in Kupiansk, specifically in the area of Lyceum No. 7, which is on Tsukrazavadska Street, and in the area of the oil and canning plant. It's practically right here, right in this part. In fact, the enemy has managed to assemble a significant, powerful grouping on the Kupiansk sector, on this Kupiansk sector. And let's just say it requires constant replenishment. And now, obviously, the question arises, where will the enemy get reserves now to consolidate their actions regarding Kupiansk-Vuzlovyi and attempts to break through to Kupiansk from the north? There is also concern about the situation further north. If you look at the map then, we see that the situation north of this entire Kupiansk area is causing some concern. Why? Because there is currently an incursion along our border. In particular, the situation is worsened in the area of Artillman, where the enemy managed to enter our territory and expand the gray zone in the area of Ustinievka. And also in the area of Milove, the incursion is growing, as well as in the area of Ambarne. In other words, the enemy is effectively not hiding their intentions, and obviously will be moving towards Velykyi Burluk, encircling the territory from both the north and the east. We have the opportunity to ask about what is currently happening in the Kupiansk area from the Deputy Commander of the Unmanned Systems Company of the Battalion Tactical Group of the 13th NGU Brigade, Khartia, callsign Hacker. Rings. I'll remind our viewers about the fundraiser. The guys are raising money for FPV equipped. You can see the details on your screens, so please join in. Every hryvnia really is important. Tell me please, how did the enemy manage to survive in the city we surrounded and even accumulate forces? How did they manage that? After all, it's obvious that ammunition and supplies were being dropped to them by drones, which we were also shooting down. And in fact, we also destroyed all the groups that tried to move from the north, from Kurylivka. So how did they manage to, well, let's say survive? Was it thanks to the local residents or canned goods that were in the basements, plus ammunition? Where do you think they could have gotten them from?
Well, they were more likely able to survive because, as you know, after the operation that took place last fall and continued through the winter, which was carried out by the 2nd NGU Corps under the planning of this commander, Mr. Kernett, groups remained there. Let's say a fairly small number of, enemy personnel remained in the city. So technically, I would say that they probably wouldn't have needed a whole lot, let's say a large amount of logistics, provisions, let's say, to survive there and just continue to be there. Which, well, even the presence of such small groups in a small number of enemy forces, in principle, creates problems in the city. And then, in principle, the enemy continued to infiltrate the city little by little in small groups. Sometimes we'd even observe situations where a single infantryman with just a radio and the enemy's drone escorts them just to get through. In most cases, they don't get very far because we destroy such, let's say, well, I don't even know if you can call it a combat unit, but some, of course, have the opportunity to get through there because the front line is quite large. And especially now, it's not winter when everything is bare, but they do have greenery in the cities, and the enemy has the opportunity to get through.
Could you please tell me in which parts of the city is the enemy currently being spotted? It's the north, south, and east. What is the situation in Zauskilya? Is it true that the enemy, from Kurylivka, let's say, is infiltrating in small groups into the northern outskirts of Kupiansk? How successful are they in doing that?
Well, regarding the location of specific targets, yes, the areas of the city where the enemy will infiltrate, I cannot tell you. At the moment, I do not possess such information. As for the routes they're using to approach the city, well, basically, yes. It's along the Oskil River from the north, the places where they can cross the river itself. Well, that is, as you know, that same gas pipeline which they can use to move. And then they move both towards the west and towards the south from the place where this pipeline crosses to the right bank of the Oskil River. Well, and as I said, unfortunately, some groups or individual enemy soldiers are able to infiltrate. Well, and with this, they create problems because, unfortunately, they transmit valuable information to their command, again, via radio.
Tell me, please, is the enemy's buildup of forces and assets felt, in your opinion? The enemy has now deployed 2 combined arms armies and an entire army corps in this direction. Well, at least a few units of this army corps are in this sector.
Well, I wouldn't say that the enemy's tactics have changed much recently. In general, just as they were trying to operate with such small pilot groups, they're still trying to do so. As for the assets they use in the air, in principle, everything is the same as it was. That is, reconnaissance Mavics, strike FPV drones. Well, they also use FPVs with fiber optics and strike wings of a conventional type. So I wouldn't say that anything new or any fundamental change in the volume, in the number of strikes on their part, has been observed.
Thanks for being with us. That was the Deputy Commander of the 13th NGU Brigade's Unmanned Systems Company, call sign Hacker. Let me remind our viewers about the QR code. This is a fundraiser for FPV spare parts. Join in. Every hryvnia is truly more. Tell me, please, Mr. Alexander, a question. Where did we lose the initiative in time? For a long time, we were effectively clearing districts of the city, but we couldn't completely drive the enemy out. The enemy, has not only accumulated forces now, but has successfully advanced east and south of the Kupa city towards Kupiansk-Vuzlovyi. What did we do wrong, or what did we miss?
If we're talking about missing or not missing something, there wasn't a complete...
Look, if you look, you can see that the enemy currently has the forces and resources, and their movement is indeed currently concentrated in the area of Kupiansk-Vuzlovyi.
Those remnants of Russian were not completely isolated. Russian troops in the city, yes. And let's not forget the tactic that the Russians are using, which is this infiltration, because there is no continuous front line, meaning no trenches that cut across this.
Territory.
Right, territory. It's not that kind of war anymore. The enemy they disguise these units of theirs in our uniforms and in the same multicam. Essentially, our units are fighting in multicam, and the Russians are in multicam. So it's quite difficult to really detect, to identify what kind of unit is moving. In the event of this or that, well, let's not say loss, but a lack of reliable interaction between units for friend or foe identification, this kind of infiltration occurs. And essentially, in the cities right now, it turns into this kind of mess, all mixed up, both our guys and the enemy. And it's quite difficult to distinguish whose is whose. For the Russians, I've been observing this since 2023, this kind of infiltration. If 1 out of 100 manages to slip through somewhere and crawl into a basement, for them, it's considered
Israel.
a successfully executed situation, meaning it's a success for them. And over these almost a year of fighting in Kupiansk, they were accumulating these people 1 by 1, 2 by 2, 3 by 3, who were infiltrating the city. Some of them are carrying only ammunition and food supplies. Some are the actual fighters who are doing the fighting. Let's not forget about those units. The 1st Tank Army is their elite army, and the 11th Army Corps has been fighting in this area since 2023, or rather since 2022, from the very beginning. This is their area of responsibility. Meaning it's not those guys there, not the Mobics. There is a more rigorous selection process for these units, and the training in these units is, well, always ongoing, because these are elite units fighting in this sector. From what they are doing, well, nothing has changed over this year, or even 2. So the attempt to cut through our group that is located on the left bank of the Oskil, that is through Kupiansk-Vuzlovyi and further along the river, as you showed us, left and right, to isolate, surround, and destroy them 1 by 1. So absolutely nothing has changed. And this movement toward Kupiansk is using the same paths, the same methods. They aren't being creative in this case. And just as they've been hacking away, they continue to hack away methodically. Gaining 10 meters in half a year is normal for them, with thousands of casualties. They don't count that.
In your opinion, will the enemy's incursion in this sector actually affect the defense of Kupiansk, like what we showed further north, up in the area of Ambarne, Milove, and Artemivka? Meaning those forces that are trying to flank Velykyi Burluk there.
These are 2 different operations. Because, well, if you zoom in now on the Kupiansk-Vuzlovyi section, it's absolutely clear that there is an operation to cut through our bridgehead and destroy this bridgehead, reaching the line of the Oskil River. If we look at the northern incursion, the main task of the grouping that is pushing in will be to move towards the Vovchansk area in order to also encircle our grouping located in the border area and then squeeze it out from that, let's say, northeastern section of our defense relative to Kupiansk.